SRPT down 8.15%. This is the pre-market session of Monday, the 28th of July. So what's the latest? So if you definitely know that two teenager deaths were linked to Elevidys, and the third in an unrelated trial using the same AAV vector. The FDA asked Sarepta to suspend all Elevidys shipments. Initially, they were hesitant, and they ultimately complied. The FDA continues active investigation into the most recent death involving an 80-year-old boy, while Sarepta maintains that death may not be therapy related. In Europe, the EMEA declined to endorse Elevidys for ambulatory DMD patients aged 3 to 7, citing insufficient evidence of motor function improvement in the EMBARK trial. Roche, which handles Elevidys commercialization outside the US, affirmed its intent to continue engagement with the European Medicines Agency, that's the FDA equivalent in Europe, to explore potential paths forward, emphasizing the treatment's potential benefit risk in ambulatory patients. So global access, Roche pauses distribution in some regions. It has stopped distributing LVDs in certain countries, especially those basing approval on the FDA's prior decision, including Gulf states. In Brazil and Japan, regulators have independently taken action, though not all impacted by the FDA based pause. So, key issues and community discussion themes, safety concerns, and regulatory trust. With multiple linked deaths and ongoing investigation, Elevidys is at the center of regulatory scrutiny. Critics argue Sarepta's initial resistance to halting shipments may suggest unwillingness to fully prioritize safety over access. Supporters counter that halting the drug removes critical options for DMT families with few alternatives. So this is working for families already. So it's definitely important for FDA and regulators to do their job. But some people have this. The drug is a lifeline for is a means of health sustenance for a lot of families. So that balance is where that has to be struck. So effectiveness question in Europe, the EMEA rejection underscores a growing disconnect between biological markers, protein expression, and demonstrated clinical benefit. The EMBARK phase 3 study failed to meet primary endpoint, weakening regulatory confidence in the therapy's real world impact. So market volatility and investor sentiment, shares have fallen sharply, dropped 13 to 17% after the EU rejection, and steepening year to date declined to 90%. Some investors see opportunity in the deeply de-risked price. Others are concerned about Sarepta's leadership, clear credibility, legal exposure, and looming debt burdens. So yeah, some legal action already coming up. But I think it's as it concerns investors, I believe so. Information handling and potential legal risks. Investors, analysts have criticized Sarepta over delayed disclosures related to patient deaths and questions around their transparency. Legal and regulatory scrutiny may amplify if communications are deemed incomplete, and misleading. So, patient access to public health implications. For DMD families, Elevidys represented a high hope option. The therapy's pause leaves the patients in limbo, amplifying frustration among patient advocacy groups and families awaiting clear answers on timelines, risk mitigation, and future access. So, analysis and community takeaways. So, theme and summary. Regulatory outlook. FDA's continued investigation and EMEA's rejection could delay Elevidys re-entry or future label expansions. Appeals in Europe are possible, but odds of a reversal are slim. Financial stability. With costly debt, rush milestone payments delayed, and restructuring underway, Serata is navigating a tight financial runway. Pipeline diversification. Sarepta's other programs, including RNA-based therapies and siRNA for neuromuscular disorders, offer hope but remains early stage. Risk reward split. Risk tolerant investors may view the stock as undervalued. Risk averse individuals may worry Sarepta may fail to regain market access or investor confidence. So, in summary, the company is now at a critical inflection point. Elevidys is suspended in the US, faces a regulatory rejection in Europe, and remains blocked in dozens of countries. Safety reviews are ongoing with patient deaths prompting legal and ethical scrutiny. Investor sentiment remains deeply divided, with existential questions about Sarepta's future direction and ability to recover. Moving forward, the company must rebuild trust through robust safety data, transparent communication, and strategic pivots, while navigating the intense scrutiny that could define the future of AAV based gene therapies globally. So it is a tough one for the company. As I indicated earlier on, you can see down 8.15% in this pre-market session of Monday the 28th. So this is the 4-hour chart. I believe it's active now, or I think it has not active yet, maybe, but I think active. Yes, most certainly active. Yeah, most certainly active. So we have sideways movements, if you like, with at various times attempting to spike up till Friday, the 1st of August, and then after that, you might see a decline for the continuation of the downtrend. So in terms of projections, what do we have? We have everything is a bearish projection, everything is a downward projection, nothing to the upside at all, nothing at all on this 4-hour chart, nothing at all to the upside. Everything is seriously bearish, but as before now, there are upper projections, and you really can rely on them. You really can rely on them. 23.28, 27.67, 30.37. So in terms of let's see, in terms of buying pressure, everything is severely bearish. Everything is severely bearish. Let's see what the short interest is, because this is also another critical issue. If the short interest is very high, the markets can defy the FDA, the EMEA, and all those other global agencies that are skeptical, that they've found issues with the Elevidys and found issues, and they are going to defy them, and they can literally give this company the grounds they need, the financial backing they need. So let's find out. 15.64. That's a healthy one. That's a healthy one. That is a healthy short interest. 15.64. It is healthy, and yeah, who knows? They could decide to come and do the stock and yeah, force out short sellers, because everything fundamentally is, these guys don't have any argument. They don't have any argument. They can't win now. They can't win. Even the algos are not projecting anything to the upside. So another thing we also need to check is the float. Okay, okay, 93.47 million. It doesn't really matter that much. It doesn't really matter that much. They could decide anyway to squeeze it. They could decide to coordinate a short squeeze against it. You know, yeah, they could still do anyway. And I think it's also optionable. Yeah, let's see. Um, think it is. It has to be optionable. Yeah. So it has everything to force short squeeze and the gamma squeeze, even though the float is not that much, but it doesn't change anything at all. It doesn't change. It doesn't. It won't stop them from attempting to force a short squeeze on a stock. But that's if they are interested. If they are interested, it is optional. So yeah, if it's if yeah, if they begin to if people begin to buy the calls and they begin to you know see if they can squeeze the stock. If some of those stock, if they begin to squeeze a stock and they're also buying the calls, so you have a short squeeze going on, and then you also have a gamma squeeze going on. The gamma squeeze, is when the market makers begin to buy stocks because the stocks are, I mean, call options are being opened, and they're also going into the money. So that will lead to you know, a, it will be a big squeeze from the derivatives and from the main instrument itself. So it's going to lead to FOMO as well. And then you have people who are coming into jumping into get done to make sure they don't lose out on the pump. So this is a stop to watch. It is most certainly a stop to watch. So let's see. We've seen these projections. They're not in play at the moment, but we're just pointing them out. They're not in play at the moment. We have let's see what we have. We have 23.28, 27.67, 30.37. So downward projections are really deep. We can use the market grid to find what they are. Let's see. Let's use the market grid to find the downward projections. Okay, we have it's currently at okay. We have downward project. It's currently trading at around 11.93. So lower prices 11.61, 11.28, 10.95, 10.65. Lower prices are still very much possible. So obviously, you can imagine you don't need to be told that lower prices are very much possible. Very, very much possible. Yeah, very much possible. So we can let's have a look at the daily chart to see whether we have down projections there. Yeah, we have down projections here. We have this. We have 2.11. Yeah, 2.11. The sort of prices that can still print. So just be careful out there. But this let's just see how things go. Let's just see how things go. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this video.